I'm here to dominate. I don't like to leave any room for doubt. And so when I'm on the field, it's just a very intense, aggressive, in-your-face type of guy.
He's there to win. And he always has been that way since he started football.
We always need some leaders like that just will push right to the very edge of almost being disrespectful. But I think it comes from a place of, if we as a group of men know what another guy's goals are and aspirations, then it's appropriate to push. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but you don't become a good football team without some discomfort.
And then as soon as I'm off the field, leaving the game, I'm right back into my shell, just quiet, just go right to my family and go home. So
Chaz, by nature, is a nurturer. He loves people. He's a champion for the underdog. Always been like that.
So we were both adopted, both me and my sister.
People, they'll look at us and I'm just like, hey, our family's the Mutt family. We accept any and all.
I grew up in a dominant white community.
But as he grew older, he started to realize, you know what? I'm adopted, and I have another side where his biological father was black and his biological mother was Caucasian, and trying to fit into who he is.
I wasn't really accepted by a certain group. I was friends with them, but none of them would say, oh yeah, he's this or that, So to me, it was kind of just, I could call myself a football player, and they could say, oh yeah, that's my teammate. I play football with him.
May 2020, for Mother's Day. I had felt it for a little while. It was a couple of weeks. I just felt this intense spirit to needing to connect him with his birth mom and with his birth family so that he can figure out who he is and he can be comfortable with who he is.
And she says, you know what? I really feel inspired that we need to give your biological mothers, both your mothers, a Mother's Day gift.
And I think that started opening up the way for him to be okay with who he is. And really, no matter where he comes from or who he comes from, he's loved.
I think now, for me, what I found is I can say with confidence that I'm a half black, half white man that was raised by Polynesians. And I claim the Polynesian side as well, the Samoan and Hawaiian. It seems pretty simple to put it like that, but for so long, it never made any sense to me. And so with that discovery, it brought a whole new confidence to who I am and something that I can back up and really claim myself. And I think that was the biggest thing, was just being able to claim myself for who I was instead of reaching out to find other areas that I could fit in.
Struggling with his identity, trying to figure out who he is, and then mental health challenges with depression, anxiety, and ADHD. And then we have surgery, shoulder surgery. We have coming home from the mission. We have being falsely arrested.
February 2020 was a life-changing event in his life. He got pulled over coming on the way home from church. He got arrested for DUI. It was public news. It hit all over, ESPN, every station. It was in the paper. Everyone knew about it, heard about it, found out about it.
That one really hurt because of, being in my hometown community, playing for a religious school, and then you throw DUI on top of that, and it's like, nah, that's not a hometown hero. That's not someone that we want to represent us, I think for me, the biggest part of that was just being able to accept whether the reality was fair or not, what my reality was at the time. And having to sit behind it, can't say anything, can't expose nothing. I just have to sit there and take it, let people believe what was being spread on social media. And that really took a big hit on me mentally.
District attorney ended up throwing out everything, saying there's zero evidence, no evidence at all. But it's too late. His name was already out there. He got judged one way or the other. You automatically assume.
It was a heavy burden. I remember him struggling one day. And he called me. He's like, Mom, I'm really struggling. I'm at work. I go into the bathroom and I say a prayer. Holy Father, you know this kid better than I do. He's your son. You've got to help me. You've got to help me help him. I'll listen, you just got to tell me. And so the words that came to my mind were musubi and medicine. He hadn't been eating well. He was in this depression and this sadness and just all the burden that was placed on him. And I think that was one of the starts to getting the help that he needed and him being okay. Something clicked with him, like, I'm not okay, I need help.
That arrest coupled with his surgeries and not being able to practice and managing his mental health with academics really put him in a dark space. That really, with all the social injustice that just continually to show up, was a trigger for him. Watching him cry, and I could tell there was so much anguish and suffering in him. I had no idea how dark and of a hole he was in, you know, to a point where thoughts of suicide crossed his mind. You know, we'd have a different conversation right now if that were to take place. I don't know where I would be if I lose my son or my daughter or anybody of that nature.
I think a lot of people didn't know that he was in that dark place. I think that's where a lot of people started to realize that maybe if we think outwardly a little bit more and try to not just assume that people are doing well because of football or because of school or whatever it is, that people will still struggle even though things look on the surface like they're doing well.
Like, you know, those last 6 months of 2020, I was just in the worst place I've been ever in my life. And, you know, thank God that I have a family and the support that they were able to give me. And looking back at it, I'm beyond grateful for what I've gone through in this last year and a half, as it's built my character. It's built everything in me. I feel resilient to anything now, anything that's placed in front of me.
I love you, son. I just think the world of you.
I'm very honored to be your father, son.
You keep going, you keep trying, you keep persevering, you keep loving and being kind to people, because you will be able to help the people that God needs you to help.
I live my life a lot of times through you and the things that you do. And I don't think you recognize all the goodness, all the good that you bring.
And we'll be here 100% all along the way. Love you, Chaz.